Hi, I'm Kayte Hachey. I currently yell in the band Desiccate. I was born in Burlington, Ontario. My whole family comes from Quebec. I moved to Hamilton in my early 20s, and Hamilton is home, not looking back. So my main influences growing up, both personal and musical, definitely stemmed from my parents. So music was always playing in the house. Anything from John Coltrane to The Temptations, lots of Motown, lots of R&B, lots of soul and blues as well. My mom was always known for putting on Handel Messiah at Christmas time. It was her fairy music. So those are huge influences on me. Um, Growing up, I also, funnily enough, really enjoyed watching musicals. Today, I'm not really keen on them, but growing up, it was definitely Rocky Horror Picture Show. I loved Crybaby. I loved Cabaret with Liza Minnelli. So those were some keen ones growing up for me. So what got me into punk metal and hardcore was definitely stealing my sister's CDs. So she had one of those Columbia House subscriptions, and definitely just yoinking any CD that she thought was cool, I thought was cool too. So that's definitely where I got into more heavier stuff. And then from there, so I was pretty young. And also when I grew up in Burlington, there were some great shows happening at the YMCA, at the music hall, all ages. So lots of punk metal youths would go out and just check out who's playing. And it was a rad mix of things. I mean, anywhere from, like, emo was pretty popular at that time. So I would catch Alexis on Fire. I would catch bands like Rose is Dead, Between the Buried and Me. In my 13-year-old brain, that was very formative. And from there, when I, got into high school, I got into more extreme stuff. I was definitely the goth kid growing up in high school at a very athletic high school. So I found a few like-minded individuals and went from there and never stopped going to shows. So definitely that's where a lot of my influences in getting into punk and hardcore and metal came from. So my first concert ever, actually going back to my childhood days, would have been both Fred Penner and Sharon Lois and Bram. Classic. From there, my first big concert would have been Britney Spears as a wee lass. And then from there, again, like I mentioned, just, being a 13-year-old punk kid going to all of those free YMCA shows, for sure. So my favorite shows, it's definitely hard to choose, but the first one that came to mind was back in 2011 at the second and last Heavy TO. So many rad bands played, but my favorite was definitely watching Motorhead. It was very drizzly, it was an outdoor festival, just a crummy day outside. Lemmy came out before they even played a song. He just said, "You fuckers look like you need to yell." So they started the set with 3 minutes of yelling from the crowd, which was rad. Very cathartic. RIP. Some other favorite memories, definitely again, all those YMCA shows. Another favorite was seeing the Addicts play with Adam. That was so much fun. So many beach balls, just a silly good time. Seeing SNFU, that's where I met Adam at Absinthe in 2014. Yeah, so many ride shows to choose from, but definitely those are the ones that stick out. So one I forgot to mention, I knew I was going to forget something. My sister, so she was surprising me with some tickets to see Nine Inch Nails back when I was really, really into Nine Inch Nails. I was feeling very, very salty that I didn't get tickets to go see them. They were driving me under the pretense they were going to take me out for my birthday, but they had actually got me tickets. So funny story, Nine Inch Nails came on the radio, I was being salty, but then they delivered that awesome surprise, and it was a rad show, so that's definitely another memorable time for sure. So the craziest things that have ever happened to a show I've been at, I'm going to edit. Just lots of dumb, violent shit. But some of the memorable times were definitely at Hammer City record shows, either in the shop or in the alley. Just shenanigans with silly string, with hot dogs. Lots of fun, lots of crazy memories. Um, Another wild thing would have been seeing The Damned with Adam, and the captain had fallen off the stage and ended up breaking his leg, which was unfortunate, but it was a rad show nonetheless. It happened during the encore. Other wild things that have happened was actually TV freaks who were playing a Doors show, and for one of their songs, some of the musical accompaniment was an exercise bike. So the person they had on the exercise bike, you know, making their tune in the song, had eventually been lifted up and crowd surfed. So that was wild. Along the same tangent, that same Heavy TO show in 2011, during Slayer's set, there was a gentleman who was really eager to crowd surf, and he was in a wheelchair. And similar thing, he was hoisted up and had a rad time crowd surfing. So just wild, rad things to see at shows for sure. So what I like most about being in a band is definitely the camaraderie. I've been doing things that I never thought I would be doing, 3 years ago. It's been rad. Namely, yelling on stage or in front of people was never really something I would have conceived prior. Something Adam and I used to talk about quite a bit. But definitely the camaraderie, it's been phenomenal, been very healing. The other thing I enjoy about yelling in a band is that primal screaming is cheaper than therapy. Really cathartic. Yeah, it's just been, in Hamilton, it's been amazing having, the connections and the people who are like-minded and meeting folks who are in it for fun and for good feelings. One thing that I dislike about being in a band is maybe the organizational aspect. I definitely come in with more of like a fun party mentality, so having to, organize and do all the logistical stuff is probably the only downfall, I'd say. So something I've always wanted to do but haven't done yet would be just travel a fuck ton. I would love to just go see some ancient shit, go see some nature shit. Top of the list is just yelling into a fjord in Norway. I would also love to go scuba diving and just make eye contact with fish, being like, what the fuck? I think that would be cool. So those are some things I want to do that I haven't done yet. So far my useless talent has been being artistic. Big joke, everybody has said. Other than that, my useless talents have not graduated much beyond grade school. So namely, and shout out to Glenn for this one as well, is this. And then the other useless talent is wiggling my ears, which I do not very well, but here we go. I don't know if that's my good ear. Here's my good ear. And that's it. Okay, so my favorite food, I tend to enjoy things that come like pre-packaged. So I like burritos, I like cabbage rolls, I like tacos. Speaking of tacos, shout out to obviously my babe and also to Sandy for making these fucking rad shirts. Dude helped me out when I fucking really needed it, so thank you, Sandy. If you've seen the prior videos, Taco Bell crew, let's go. Steve, let's go. Taco Bell, it's time. Let's go. Also, my favorite food, definitely potato chips. If you know, you know. And I think that's about time that we should cheers Adam. So fucking got my potato chip. Cheers to Adam.
Cheers.
Fuck yeah, potato chips.
Cheers, Adam.
Cheers, Adam. So that was a rad chip cheers. Thank you, Steve, for enjoying that with me. Also, thanks so much to Steve for putting these videos together. It's been rad not only to hang on to videos for people that are dearly departed, but also people I want to learn about. Like, these videos are so fucking rad. So thanks to Steve for taking his time and doing this for all of us, for everybody in the scene, and for posterity as well.